Do we?
Not really. I
No,
mean,
not really.
we spent like 17 minutes last round.
Yeah.
That was it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Throwback Thursdays here at Grey Ogre Games. It's our vintage playtest night powered by the Power 9 podcast. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts alongside just Ben.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben's good.
Ben is fine. Ben
is fine. So, Kerry on the left, I think you've seen him under the camera before.
Yeah.
But he's also the gentleman who brought his kids here this evening.
Oh, okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kerry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're enjoying this daycare experience.
Yeah, he can't hear us, but I think he'll say you're welcome when he reviews the video.
Yeah,
We'll post it
yeah,
up later
definitely.
on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is round 2 of the Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah. And Kerry is on Storm, I'm guessing. He's always playing Storm.
Mark is on
the Mentor deck.
Mentor, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a deck I built for him, and it's basically like a standard stock list.
Mhm.
Has one Jace, one big Jace, 2 small Jaces, 2 Dak Fadens.
Well, no, it's not Big Jace. It's Jace JTMS, right?
Right, JTMS.
Yeah,
okay.
no, Big Jace is
It's
like
the 5 guy.
Sherlock Holmes Jace, and the other
Sherlock
there's
Holmes.
another 5 mana
you're
Jace.
right. Yeah.
There's
Memory
so
and-
many Jaces now. It's hard to keep track. But yeah.
It is hard to keep track.
Yeah.
So Mark is thinking about keeping his hand. Kerry's just gonna mulligan. So Kerry presumably is on the play since he's choosing to mulligan first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Mark's
Mark
going
also
to mulligan as well.
Mulligans, yeah. When you shuffle your cards, do you put how many piles do you put it in? Do you do a table shuffle? That's
I
the
actually don't
first
believe in table shuffling.
Oh, you don't
So
believe in table shuffling?
I don't know. It just to me it just seems like you're just rearranging the cards in a deterministic fashion.
Well,
Yeah, I think there's some math out there that to me it's important to table shuffle once every round or every round, and if you're kind of sloppy every game because just to make sure you have 60 cards so you don't present or 60 or however many cards so you don't present an illegal deck.
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but in terms of its ability to randomize a set of cards, I don't think it's even as good as the regular refill shuffle.
No, because okay, so statistically speaking, if
so
you riffle shuffle,
we already have a win. They defeated Stitching Manor.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's good.
good job, good job.
Well done. What do you do? How do
Ben
you
really loves kids.
twice? 2 times. Wow. You're a 2-time champion.
You guys have no idea how much I am enjoying myself right now.
So
seeing Ben interacting with kids.
They both keep their 6-card hands, and
Kerry
has
Starts off with Gitaxian
Guardian
Probe.
Probe, so you get to see exactly what's going on in Mark's hand. And Mark's hand is pretty nice. It has a Force of Will, a Flusterstorm, which are all good cards for this matchup.
Oh yeah, man.
And it has Monastery Mentor, which is quite the clock.
Flusterstorm, of course, the card that counters Storm very, very well. It itself has Storm, so for 1 blue mana, counter target spell,
Instant or sorcery.
instant or sorcery, unless
Not
his
just
opponent.
be infinitely superior to anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Unless your opponent pays 1 generic mana, right?
Yeah, 1 generic
And
mana.
and it's got Storm, which means that when you cast a spell, it creates X number of copies, which equals to the number of spells that you cast that turn.
Right, yeah.
So it's very important to keep track of how many spells were being cast that turn. And since Kerry's deck is a Storm deck, Fluster Storm, very good, very good.
Yeah. So Kerry has Duress, so presumably he's gonna be able to use the Duress to take away the Lotus
Nom 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 nom.
to stop Mark from going
Doing
to
like turn 1
to the Mentor.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you're Mark, there's no way to force this, but apparently
he does.
Apparently he does know.
He does. Hey,
Yeah.
Mark, smarter than your average bear.
Not his first rodeo. It's the phrase we've been using a lot
Alright.
around here.
And no, he decides to lay the island first, which is very important because you've got a Fluster Storm in hand. You don't want to die, to your opponent's Force of Will.
Right. I don't think the Storm decks. Well, there are some Storm decks.
there are some decks that
that
probably
play
run
Force of Will.
Force of Will,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay,
So
he
Mark
gets-
plays a Mox, gets a trigger, and Mark's basically playing face up now. I don't like him laying the land. There's no
you keep it
need
in hand.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you have you don't have to present that much information to your
Yeah,
opponent.
exactly.
Let him go duress you one more time just to.
But
try to figure out.
I guess in this position, like it's what's really good is that Mark is clocking carry for quite a bit. Because carry's probed twice, gone to 16, fetched twice, gone to 14,
14
and then get hit.
taken 3 damage from the Monastery Mentor.
So, if all things being equal, it is maybe a 3.5 turn clock, assuming that Mark draws like on average one more
spell, that's
over the course of the next couple of turns. Carry's hand is decent though, because he has Yawgmoth's Will and he has a bunch of Moxes. So he can go for like a Desperation, Gitaxian Probe type thing. But what he needs to start doing is to set up his mana. Because if he's playing the spells on the same turn as he's playing the Yawgmoth's Will, then he's going to get blown up by that Flusterstorm.
By the Flusterstorm,
and he knows the Flusterstorm is there. So
so he's just
I find this odd, and it may be a slight mistake on Carry's part.
So why so?
Not casting the Mana Vault or even the Moxes.
Okay.
Because once you get to York Will, you can play the Duress, and then that will force the action on the Flusterstorm. So what you want to do is to resolve Yawgmoth's Will without Flusterstorm being interactive, being able to stop you.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to basically just have enough mana so that you just want to cast the Yawgmoth's Will and that's it.
So Mark again, like I don't really think he needs to play the land unless it's the one-off Jace that he drew. It's possible, but even if it was a Jace, will you cast it? That means that you don't get to keep Flusterstorm up.
Yeah, that's true.
That to me is just, it seems a little bit weak. I mean, Carry's hand is still very speculative anyway.
Oh, okay, so it's another Monastery Mentor.
Mark going for the 2-turn clock here, and hoping that his Flusterstorm is going to be enough. I think it's going to be enough because Carry has failed to
start developing his mana.
Yeah, exactly. So, and even if he does resolve the York Will, it is as I said speculative.
Alright, so mana creep down.
I don't know what permission he's asking for because maybe he thinks Flusterstorm counters all spells.
All spells? Oh man.
Sometimes you can get people that way, So if he plays a York Will here, he's gonna run into the storm.
Yeah. So Mark definitely just has to.
So what he's trying to bait Mark into doing is into thinking that it's not harmful and then letting him counter it and not countering it.
How do you convince your opponent that please do not counter my spell? It's fine.
No,
you can do it in Commander probably.
One of the ways you can do that is just to put it in a bin right away and then just like assume that your opponent's gonna counter it. Then he's like, oh no, if my opponent wants me to do this, then I shouldn't do that.
Then you shouldn't do that. Okay, that's very sneaky. That's actually
or you tap 2 mana at the start, you go like Time and you put it back in your hand, like you pretend to say Time Walk, and then you play the Yawgmoth's Will, and he's like, oh,
Oh man, this one trying to be sneaky, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
No, but if you did have the Time Walk, I think you would cast the Time Walk first, right?
Well,
because if it gets countered, it goes into the bin.
Yeah.
And now that you cast the Yawgmoth's Will,
yeah. But if you play the Time Walk, then Mark doesn't counter it. Mark doesn't counter it.
Oh yeah. That's why he can just wait.
He can just wait. Yeah.
Okay.
So Mark, so sideboard options. What's really good for Carry is that he gets access to things like Defense Grid.
And so that's actually quite good.
Possibly his own Mind Break traps, if he thinks that a lot of this interaction is going to be on the stack. But that's usually more reserved for other combo decks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Other than Defense Grid, I think that's pretty much it. He could bring in the Empty the Warrens is also a very important card in the matchup.
Why Empty the Warrens though? This one always eludes me. Like I know it's another Storm card that you can go off on, but Empty the Warrens usually costs a little high for what you want it to do.
Okay, so the way the matchup plays out is that there's 2 kinds of cards that Carry has in his deck. Well, 2.5. They're bombs and mana.
Okay.
Right. So mana isn't as good because every time you invest mana, it makes Mark's counter spells better. Because you play a Dark Ritual, then you play a spell, then his counter spell is getting 2 cards for 1.
Oh yeah, okay.
So what Carry wants to do is increase.
Flusterstorm. I mean, like
Flusterstorm. If you just paint mana for a Force of Will, if you mental misstep something, if you,
okay.
So
okay. All right.
But what Carry wants to do is to be able to increase the bomb density of his card. So every card becomes a card that needs to either Force of Will or needs to be interacted with.
Alright, so the Empty the Warrens is just another way out for...
Sure, it's something that you can manage at a lower mana count. So you don't have to go too big. You don't have to play too
okay.
many spells. Just play a couple moxes. Maybe play a ritual, get it counted. Lay a land and then cast Empty the Warrens. And then your opponent has to answer the guys, the goblins that are in play, and then you can start building your hand, and so you have the advantage. You have a bit of pressure, and if you hit him for like 10, then you can cast a small tendrils and kill him.
That's true.
So I think
you don't have to you don't have to invest so much in trying to just just combo off. You can wait a while. I mean, every copy of Empty the Warrens gives you what, 2 goblin tokens, right?
Two goblin tokens.
So even
solid.
having 6 goblin tokens on the battlefield is not bad. It's pretty good.
So on Mark's end, he's probably gonna side out Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, I don't think that does much.
And keep most of his cards. Maybe not the young. Maybe cut 2 mentors and just go Tread Light.
Does he have what's his name? Talia in the sideboard?
No, he doesn't.
No? Okay.
But he does have
anything that increases.
He does have artifact removal, which is quite important because if you're anticipating defense grids, if your opponent is playing the brain defense grid, then you need to have some way to interact with them. If not, you're just cold, and all your counter magic doesn't do anything.
So what artifact removal is there in the?
He has 2 Ingot Chewers and a Shattering Spree, I believe.
Okay.
Which is very
That's
different from the
efficient,
past, where you used to have you used to need to have at least like 7 or 8 cards dedicated to the artifact matchup.
Wow, that's a lot. Why do you need so many?
That was it was back in the time where the deck was there were 3 major decks. It was Dredge, Shops, and Blue decks.
Oh yeah, okay. Nowadays there's more. I mean, there's even the humans deck as well.
More humans, and so there's more need for things like Swords to Plowshares and Supreme Verdicts and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Mark plays a Gaiaxian Probe and has full knowledge of Carrie's hand, and you can see that this is the problem with the Storm deck, is that it can invest all that mana, but it doesn't have any payoff cards. Or if it has 1 payoff card that's counterable by like Force of Will, you get very little traction, very little value out of that. I'm surprised that Cabal Rituals are even still in the deck. Like that's the first thing to me that comes out because it's just the weakest form of mana.
Right. Okay, that's true.
Yeah, Mark playing the Mox here. Presumably as a mentor and is in to follow up next turn.
Probably.
Because there's no real need, no real reason, right? And then if you have a Brainstorm, which he does in his hand, you can always shuffle the Moxes away.
Yeah.
If you don't need
true.
them. People think that if I have power, I have to play the power. But
no, you want to keep information and like just be surprise your opponent. Like,
definitely.
Suddenly.
So he's gonna play the aforementioned. He flicked the Brainstorm to the front, and I think he chose otherwise. He's pushing the cards, hoping to hit the blue land. I think
draws
a Scalding Tarn, and he does the curse, the very rudimentary flick it to the middle of my hand and then pull it out again, just to show that I didn't top deck that one, I didn't rip that one. We all know, we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Being the guys behind the booth, we know. So Mark plays Jace Rinse Prodigy, pretty good.
It's Jace Rinse Prodigy, and he like. How does he work in this deck?
Right at the front.
Right at the front with the camera. Please don't touch the camera though. What does Jace Rinse Prodigy do in this deck?
It just lets you buy back some of the more powerful card selection and card advantage spells. The primary candidate, of course, is Gush. Because Jace, unlike Snapcaster, says you can play the spells the way when you're hand. So it means you can play alternate casting costs. So it's also helpful in situations where you need to resolve a Planeswalker, for example, in like a blue mirror, and then you decide that you want to give Force of Will flashback.
Right. Okay. So just at that point in time, you can.
Yeah. So Mark's drawn Ancestral Recall, and one of the things that you can do with Jace, which is very fun, is the flashback Ancestral Recall.
What? Really? You can?
And this is vintage at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
Man. Alright, so Ancestral Recall.
And Carrie reminding him that it's a targeted spell. In the earlier days of this format, or in alpha testing for the game, Time Walk said target player loses next turn.
Target player loses next turn. Yeah. That is
so it was a really powerful card. But it's come along. The game's come a long way since then. So Jace still on 5 loyalty. Mark thinking about what to do with the embarrassment of riches that he has in his
Yeah,
hand.
exactly. He doesn't know 2 cards in Carrie's hand though, unfortunately. But I don't
Yeah,
think
Mark
it's
taking
of
up.
any consequence.
And I think he's gonna play a preordain. So, boys and girls, this is a ponder. So Mark showing us that he knows how to sequence his cantrips
His
well.
cantrips, yeah.
Because if you have a preordain, what you want to do is more often than not sacrifice your fetches first, especially if you've already played your brainstorm. Now, if you still have the brainstorm in your hand, then the fetch is invaluable. The fetch is it's a pseudo ancestral recall, having that combination of, because you can push cards that are irrelevant,
Out of the way, yeah.
out of the way,
Okay.
and
So-
draw 3 extra new cards.
Yeah, something like brainstorm or what he just played which was ponder.
Mm-hmm,
So you know, if you don't like those cards, just shuffle them away. But if you like one of those cards, if you like at least just one of those cards, you take it and then you shuffle the rest away.
So carry with Lotus.
So yeah, carry is signifying that he's gonna go
Yeah.
off this turn.
I think Mark is super safe though, because he looks like he has a force. And
Mark's playing a little slower.
yeah. So carry plays ritual. So he has 3 black.
And he's got 3 spells on the stack already.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1, 2, 3, yeah.
So what do you think? I think if he has Hercules, he goes straight for the red land and plays a ritual, hopefully into a counter spell, right? But he doesn't have Hercules. He obviously doesn't have Mice Desire. We saw that. Saw him flip past that in his deck.
Yeah.
So what is Carrie's play here?
He's got Yawgmoth's Will, he's got the therapy.
Yeah, so he doesn't have a payoff spell yet, right? Like all Yawgmoth's Will does currently.
Well, we
is
don't.
make
That's the thing.
mana.
We don't know 2 cards in his hand, and he did not fetch for any red mana,
Yeah,
which
so
kind of signifies he doesn't have Empty the Warrants in hand.
Yeah, it's not Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? So
Okay, so he's a Demonic Tutor.
he's playing Demonic Tutor. Sure. I can see where he's going with this line. I think what he's trying to do is to bait out of counterspell, and then be able to play the Yawgmoth's Will.
I see.
And
Okay.
rebuy the Demonic
Yeah,
Tutor.
but if you don't, that's the thing. Like, if you don't counter the
Then it
Demonic
just-
Tutor at this point in time, like you're just gonna look for
Just
probably.
gets Cabal Therapy or Duress, or even Defense Grid. Defense
Yeah,
Grid
exactly,
is
yeah,
kind of a
just-
beating right now. And Defense Grid, Mark lets that resolve, presumably hoping to fight against the Duress or the Defense Grid with the Force of Will he has in hand. I mean, I don't think Mark loses from this position. His hand is
No, yeah, his hand is
stacked.
pretty good.
But you can. There are ways to misplay it. There are ways to.
There are ways for you to just forget like what you should be playing around.
Mm-hmm. And I think Carrie should get Defense Grid here. In essence, it's the same thing as casting Duress, because it's actually the cost of which is subsidized by the Tolarian Academy, adding one extra mana for the artifact in play. But it's better than Duress because it catches all the counter magic. It hits every counter spell.
Yeah, that's true.
As opposed to Duress or Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy could get only one kind of counter spell, so it only gets like Force of Wills or Mental Missteps or Fluster Storms,
So
but not all of them. So yeah, Carrie.
we're not sure what Carrie got, but
I'm 80% sure. I mean, if I'm in his position, I take
you get the
Defense Grid.
The Defense Grid, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it'd be very well played if Carrie has an actual a discard spell,
Like
hiding
ready to go.
as the last card in his hand to go ahead and protect that. Protect that Defense Grid. Because all systems go once you have Defense Grid in play. So Carrie is still in the tank.
3 mana is a lot to pay for a spell.
3 is a lot. Yeah, especially when you don't have Tolarian
You
Academy.
don't have it, yeah.
Yep, looks like Defense Grid. He's tapping 2.
Defense Grid.
Yeah.
Hit support.
And this is the easiest Force of Will in Mark's life.
Yeah.
It just depends on what he's pitching. His pitch is Gush.
Yeah, it is a gush. Okay.
Yeah, you can't have too many cards.
Yeah,
seems.
of course. Well, you've already got the Ancestral Recall waiting for you in the graveyard.
Yeah.
What's
Must be
one
nice.
gush, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Must be nice. So carry opts to pass. I understand his position. I understand his reasoning. He
Why
wants
doesn't he just play the Yawgmoth's wheel?
I guess he puts Mark on another counter spell. So he's hoping that the next
next time he gets
the
on
next
tap.
that he has to find some kind of discard or some kind of interaction with
I see.
with Mark's hand.
Because I mean, well, if I didn't know any better, and I probably don't, I'll just go off and try to do the Yawgmoth's wheel. Try to get back the defense grid.
Yeah, but majority of Mark's deck is interaction at this point. I don't know why Mark brought in the Containment Priest.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably to stop the goblin.
It's just non-token creatures though.
It
Like
says
it doesn't
non-token
affect tokens. Yep.
Maybe he, like me, does not know what the card does.
Yeah. I am 100%
sure? Yes.
Because if not, Containment Priest would be a $30 card. Will be like a $100 card because
instead of a $30 card.
Yeah. Cast Lingering Souls. Containment Priest.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Bitter Blossom, Containment Priest.
Oh man, too good.
Yeah, too good. Even Voice of Resurgence. Containment Priest.
Oh man. At your end step.
Yeah. But what is fun is
wow,
someone casting a Restoration Angel and you casting a Containment Priest and them choosing to use the ability and then you're like, doesn't come back. Eldrazi Displacer is the card that everyone's been talking about.
Oh yeah.
It's
so what with Containment Priest, you just like
you blink it out and it just doesn't come back.
Disappears.
Yeah, it gets displaced.
Yeah.
It does what the Gatewatch Oath couldn't do and keeps them permanently away.
No, they did kill Ulamog. And
they did. Did they?
Like, give them
give
that
some
much
credit.
credit. Yeah. Besides, now everybody's in this stride having like relationship problems. So.
Sure. So Mark found both. Oh, he didn't find Lotus.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Just chooses to swing in with the Containment Priest, and passes the turn. What does he have in hand though?
Oh, Mark probably has is that he drew Monastery Mentor, and he's waiting to keep the Mox in his hand so that he
can cast a Monastery Mentor
and then play the Mox to get the prowess trigger. Which then gives away 2 cards in his hand because you show carry the Mox and you now he knows you have a Mentor, which
God damn it, Mark.
I think it's good because it forces Carry to play on this turn.
Do something, yeah.
And if he does play on this turn, then Mark has him covered. And you want Carry to exhaust his resources sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't, then he gets to develop his mana, then slowly outpaces your Flusterstorm.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
I'm not sure if Carrie knows that line because he didn't adopt it the last.
Yeah. Looks like Carrie's tapping for 2 mana, so it could be. It looks like Hurkyl's Recall. Because he's playing. Yeah, so he's playing Dark Ritual, which I think Mark is completely fine with right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 5.
Is Dark Ritual? We have no more mana sources, right? Dark Ritual is an instant speed now.
No, there was a time where you could Mystical Tutor for mana sources, so you could.
Yeah.
But that was very confusing, so they did away with that whole definition. Even they did away with like interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Initially, the only cards that could interact
with interrupts or other
mana
sources,
or other interrupts, and mana sources. You're right. Yeah. And then they changed that, and I think Abeyance became amazing because Abeyance was players can't play instants and instants and sorceries and activated abilities or something like that, and it affected people's mana, so they could just time warp people. This was like in the mid 90s, like 1995. And the card was insane. It was just
for very practical
everywhere,
reasons.
yeah.
For very obvious reasons.
Magic's a lot different these days. So.
Yeah. No more damage on the stack.
No more damage on the stack. No
Well,
banding. No more banding.
Oh yeah.
So
why do you get rid of bending?
Cast
So
Gush in response to the ritual, trying to hit a dark mental misstep.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, and I think carry. Okay, so
Mark has the mental misstep in hand.
My read is that this is so odd.
Alright, so Yawgmoth's will go
Yawgmoth's
down.
will with 5 floating. Well, so if your mark,
You counter the Yacht Mouse Wheel?
you force the Yacht Mouse Will
So that was
with hopefully a Jace that you have in your hand that's not doing anything. Or a Gush.
no,
since
it's a
you know
gush,
you have-
yeah. Well, you gushed once already, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
And yeah. And so you force this, and then if he has some kind of storm spell, some kind of payoff, then you Fluster Storm it back. What does leave him vulnerable to is the possibility that he has something like Yawmo's Bargain.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh.
Yeah. So something that he can't counter with Fluster Storm.
Yeah.
That's a
true.
trump, you know.
But can he cast the Yacht Mouse Wheel Bargain? He's what, 5 mana up right now, right? So he casts the Yacht
Yeah.
Mouse Wheel, he'll be at 2 mana. Oh, he's
Mhm.
still got 4 mana left. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. So I think Kerry has. I think he has some payoff cards. So he's gonna play the Cabal Ritual. So it looks like he has a payoff card. It could my odds are on Mind's Desire, but I would much prefer it to be Yawmo's Bargain because I think that gives him the best shot of winning from this position.
Wow. There's a lot of thought that goes into this.
The Storm deck?
Yeah, the Storm
Yeah.
deck. Like, you have to play around basically everything that your opponent's playing, unless your opponent's not playing a very interactive deck.
Yeah. Oh, it's Dark Petition.
Alright, it's a Dark Petition.
So Mark has
Uh,
the easiest Fluster Storm of his life.
Does he go off on the Fluster Storm? Does
Yep.
he have the Fluster Storm?
He does.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Pew pew pew! Fire! Okay,
Yep.
and that's it. That's the
And
game.
Kerry packs up the cards on his own. Yeah. Mark has the fireball kill of Mentor, play a Mox Time Walk,
And then,
and then
oh man, that
this
is
jam with his guys.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 2-0 to Mark Tan.
Congrats.
Yeah, this
Good
is
job.
good job. It's a matchup that's quite emblematic of the whole vintage format right now.
Really?
Yeah. Storm versus
Storm
Mentor.
versus Mentor.
Yeah. So blue decks and the Storm deck is supposed to prey on the blue deck.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Because of the
Okay.
the amount of just the amount of threats that you can present. Like if you constantly playing Duresses to clear out his hand and then
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, then you can basically just pave the way for your combo
your
to
combo, yeah.
go off. Yeah.
But I think Kerry just never didn't get there.
Yeah. We do see
Unfortunate.
the mind break trap there and the 3 defense grids. That came in for. What did he sideboard in there? Rewinds? No.
Hercules Recall.
Oh, Hercules
He
Recall?
sided them out. Makes sense.
Why
Yeah,
would
he
why
is-
would you side out the Hercules Recall though?
There's no reason to the
It's not a shops deck that you're playing
Yeah.
with, and there's no reason for you to bounce your own. Like, you can bounce your own stuff so that you can cast more things, which means
Mhm.
that A, you get more mana, and B,
Yeah.
you just
I mean, I think Recall as a way to increase your storm count gets even worse.
versus
Post-board.
the Fluster Storm.
Yeah, because you have if you have defense grids, you don't want to return all your artifacts to your hand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Okay,
So I think on that alone,
reasonable sideboard. All right, so we are going to, I guess, a break.
we're
between
gonna
the
show you
games.
some more modern from yesterday, and
Yeah,
we'll
that's-
catch you in a bit for round 3.
Yeah. But
Thanks
before
for-
we go, just like to remind you all, whoever is watching, I don't think there's a lot of people watching, because we did not advertise this stream.
Oh, we didn't advertise this.
Yeah,
stream.
I don't think so.
Oh well,
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
and
That's
there was a
fine.
lot of click through yesterday. That's why we had like a lot of people
Okay.
on a random Wednesday night. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, something that we could definitely discuss, and something
Yeah,
that happens because you're short-handed. Like you just
Yeah.
don't have enough people working.
Nah, but
today.
the weekends are the best. Like when we stream on the weekends, those get you the most viewers. But yeah, if
Sure.
you are watching, this isn't our only stream. In fact, we have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday we've got SCG game night, which is standard. Wednesday we have more than modern, which is obviously modern. And Thursday we have Throwback Thursdays, which is vintage playtest night. So we'll catch you soon. The next round is going to begin. Are all the players done? No, Walter's not done. So that's not Walter.
That's Gabriel.
Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so
cool.
we'll see you
See you in a bit.